Your day with our balanced and sensational morning news. Our interesting afternoon news comes on at 12 p.m. with updated and fascinating news stories, while the 6 p.m. news rounds up all the happenings of the day to satisfy your curiosity. Join our versatile and credible news team Monday to Friday on Kear Radio. Today is Monday. Today is Monday, January 6, 2024. This is the 6 p.m. edition of Kia Newsline. I'm Lee Monjue presenting. In the headlines, University of Liberia campus-based Student Unification Party threatens disruption of the President's State of the Nation address, failure to reopen school on January 13. Sub-Chairman Sylvester Wheeler says the prolonged closure of school deprives students access to quality education. Liberia former permanent representative to RMO Isaac Jackson criticizes President Joseph Boakai on his continuous silence on political impasse at the legislature. A non-governmental and anti-drug organization described increased wave of drug intake among Liberian youth as alarming, demands urgent action from government and international partners. And away from Liberia, five young Kear men have who went missing just before the Christmas holiday have been found alive, family members and riot group said. These plus our news bulletin, the voices of the newsmaker hope for the expose their passion, our packaged. But first, Aloysius Chea is set the pace with a full bulletin of news. Good evening, Aloysius.
Good evening, listeners. Campus-based Student Unification Party has threatened to disrupt President Joseph Boakai's State of the Nation address failure to reopen the University of Liberia after being closed for more than 4 months. Speaking during a press conference on Monday, SUB Chairman Sylvester Wheeler said failure of the University of Liberia to resume academic activities on January 13, 2025 will lead to the disruption of the pending State of the Nation address. He further emphasized the importance of education and the need for the government to focus on addressing the prolonged closure of the state-run university, which they describe as unacceptable. Chairman Widow noted that instead of the Unity Party-led government prioritizing the well-being of citizens, especially students, officials of the government have amassing wealth for their personal gain. The chairman of the Student Unification Party termed President Joseph Boakai frequent travels as a slap in the face of the struggling Liberians. Liberia's former permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization, Isaac Jackson, has frowned at President Joseph Boakai on his continuous silence on the current crisis at the national legislature. According to Isaac Jackson, the current situation at the national legislature portrays a negative image for the Unity Party-led government. He added that despite the many years of experience of President Boakai in government, it is now reflective of his actions. Isaac Jackson made these comments in an interview with journalists via telephone on Monday. He further called on international partners to find an amicable solution to resolving the ongoing legislative impasse at the legislature. The former IMO permanent representative also blasted police alleged action against citizens during protests, terming it as unprofessional. A non-governmental organization under the banner Anti-Drugs World Order Buzz has embarked on a massive drug awareness across Monrovia and its environs. The group, in a peaceful assembly at the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia, said the awareness is due to the increasing wave of drug intake in the country. Speaking to Kear News, elderly Liberian women in a disappointing tone termed the increasing wave of drug intake amongst Liberian youths as national emergency. The Liberian mothers urged government through the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency and the international partners to intervene and ensure Liberia is drug-free. The group at the same time vowed to work with those who are victims of the narcotic substances in order to change lives and end the war against drugs in the country. Deputy Information Minister for Press and Public Affairs has blasted Barbados County Senator Amara Conning for his critique of the Waka Kun administration. Recently, Senator Amara Conning took to his official Facebook page to critique the performance of the Unity Party-led government, describing its first year as a year marked by challenges, mistakes, and missed opportunities. But days after the Barbados County Senator's critique, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs Daniel Sano described Senator Conning's critique as an unfair judgment of government's efforts to tackle challenges incurred from the CDC government. According to him, the Waka administration is making frantic efforts on improving the living condition of the ordinary Liberians, resuscitating the economy, and delivering on campaign promises. Minister, thus Deputy Minister Sana accused Senator Conan of abandoning his duty as a lawmaker, alleging that the Barbados County Senator spends much of his time in the United States rather than doing what he was elected for. Meanwhile, Daniel Sanders highlighted the achievements of the Unity Party-led government within its first year, including macroeconomic stability, fiscal policy, and revenue collection, crafting of a national development document, amongst others. The head of the House of Representatives Majority Bloc, Rachel Cohn, along with other two lawmakers, have departed Liberia for Accra, Ghana, to witness the induction ceremony of Ghanaian President-elect John Mahama. Representative Richard Coon and his delegation departed the country barely 24 hours after they were officially invited by the Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament, Honorable Abam Sumata Kingsford Bangme. Those accompanying Richard Cohn, as Representative Richard Cohn, include Representative Sekou Konen, Chair on Executive, and Representative Neka Gay, Chair on Foreign Affairs. Speaking to reporters on Monday in Monrovia, the House of Representatives Press Bureau Director Robert Hayes disclosed that Representative Cohn and his delegation are expected to emerge in discussions with key stakeholders in Ghana aimed at further strengthening ties between the two countries. According to him, the dedication of the House of Representatives will return to the country immediately after the induction program to prepare for the State of the Nation address on the fourth working Monday. A human rights activist, Tatas Pakala, is urging government to desist from politicizing human rights violations in the country. According to Tatas Pakala, despite numerous killings across the country, there has been no state prosecution done to ensure the rule of law. He alleged that most of these crimes are reputedly perpetrated by officers of the Liberia National Police, urging government to take prompt actions. Tatas Pakala made these comments in a local radio show in Monrovia Monday. The human rights activist further threatened to take unspecified actions if the Baka-led administration refuses to put an end to the increasing wave of human rights violations. Bacala revealed that in 2024 there were 320 rape cases in Montserrat County with no clarity provided by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. Meanwhile, Kear Newsroom cannot confirm nor deny the claim made by Tatas Bacala that in 2024 there were 320 rape cases recorded in Montserrat County. A staunch member of the minority bloc of embattled Speaker Kofa has crossed over to members of the majority bloc. Speaking to journalists minutes after crossing over, Montserrat County District 3 Representative Small Mova said his decision to cross over to the majority bloc is in the best interest of residents of his district. Representative Moba stressed that his decision is aimed to ensure development in District 3 Montserrat County. Representative Moba also predicted that some members from the embattled Speaker Kofa bloc will later cross over for what he termed as the betterment of the country and its people. As the Bwaka Ko administration completes 1 year into its tenure, a Liberian businessman is proposing the reduction of tariff on imported goods at various ports of entry. According to colleague Gigi, the increase in tariff on goods at the National Port Authority and other areas have created huge loss for Liberian businesses. He added that the high increase in tariff at the airports and seaports have led to the Liberian business entrepreneurs getting involved with importation in other countries rather than Liberia. Speaking in an interview with Kear News, the influential Liberian businessman reminded President Joseph Walker of promises made to Liberians during the 2023 election period. Liberian businessman George Kalano has called on the civil society organizations and the media to assist government in combating corruption across the country. He said it is disappointing to see Liberia, after almost 178 years of independence, having nothing to show but rather having its people to live in abject poverty. Councilor Kalando made the call when he was honored at a consortium of civil society organizations in Liberia in Congo Town on Monday. Councilor Kalando also admonished officials of government to be generous to the ordinary people, noting that President Joseph Walker cannot be all over the country at the same time. Scores of citizens in Boston, Lower Maggie counted a fraud at government's failure to construct market buildings to accommodate marketeers in that part of the country. Speaking to Kear News, the citizens claimed that government's failure to construct market building has left marketeers with no option rather than selling along the streets. They also alarmed over continuous harassment by police officers on marketeers. According to them, such action by police officers to harass peaceful citizens is unlawful and only intended to undermine the tenets of democracy. The General Auditing Commission has retired 9 of its employees after meeting the required benchmark for full retirement. The brief ceremony held in the conference room of the GAC on Monday, January 6, brought together the honorees, their family members, senior management, and other staff of the commission. The formal occasion followed months of engagements with the Human Resource Unit, where appropriate information and procedures regarding their retirement were discussed to ensure a smooth departure from the walls of the GSC. Bidding the honorees farewell, Liberia's Auditor General Joshua Jackson lauded the 9 employees for their selfless contributions to the success of the GSC and reminded them that their legacy will be remembered. Speaking on behalf of the honorees, former corporate RT manager Henry Yan lauded the GSC and its senior management team for the level of courtesy given them throughout the retirement process. The honorees, most of which have served the GSC for around 13 to 15 years, were presented individual awards recounting their services to the GSC over the years. Those honored and retired are Heron Yan, Sylvester Gua, Mamadou Bali, Clifford Kai Sinan, and Francis ELT. And Magiri County District 3 representative is cautioning young people to desist from harmful conduct and focus on building a sustainable future. Representative Ellen Atoriad addressing scores of young people in the county over the weekend says young people should remain steadfast in the pursuit of their goals and avoid actions that will harm their future. The Maggie County lawmakers stressed that it is dangerous for young people to use profane languages on leaders during radio talk shows, at public forums, Facebook, amongst others. Representative Ware asserted that these acts in the name of defending politicians are not necessary, indicating that discipline amongst the young people depends on the decision they make today. News just coming in says President Joseph Walker has departed Liberia for Ghana to join other African leaders and international dignitaries for the inauguration of Ghanaian President-elect John Dramani Mahama on Tuesday, January 7, 2025, at the Independence Square of Ghana. President Walker is being accompanied by his wife, Katomo Walker, Representative Richard Kwon, Foreign Minister Sarah Beslo Yanti, Information Minister Jeremiah Kear, and several other senior officials. Well, Lee, that's the latest in the news. Bulletin is back to you for continuation.
Aloysius Chea with a full bulletin of news from the news center. He returns with our foreign development. One of the big stories we are following tonight, Liberia former permanent representative to RMO Isaac Jackson criticizes President Joseph Walker on his continued silence on political impasse at the legislature. With that, we take our first development. Campus-based Student Unification Party has threatened to disrupt President Joseph Walker's State of the Nation address, failure to reopen the University of Liberia after being closed for more than 4 months. Speaking during press conference on Monday, Sub-Chairman Sylvester Wheeler said failure of the University of Liberia to resume academic activities on January 13, 2025 would lead to disruption of the pending State of the Nation address. Sylvester Wheeler is the chairman of campus-based Student Unification Party, SUP. Liberia's former permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization, Axel Jackson, has frowned at President Joseph Boakai on his continued silence on the current crisis at the national legislature. According to Axel Jackson, the current situation at the legislature portrays a negative image for the Unity Party-led government. Axel Jackson made this comment in an interview with journalists via telephone on Monday.
Keeping with Article 17 in Grand Caveman, then the police kill three of those people. Believe that police people are supposed to kill citizens when they exercise their right. In recent times, when we get our house right, and if we don't respect our law and won't put it on fire, why is the line up going to do her? This is what I do. You know, let's ask a simple question. Let's ask ourselves, if who is that speaker, what will happen? If you really want to make good speaker, why do you don't follow the procedure? There's a way to remove speaker. Why we don't follow it? Why are we bringing disputes to our country? We're going to be like that in America. What kind of problem that brought this to? Or somebody who's going to be old man, who's going to be wise. But that old, but he's not wise. How is this crisis helping him? How does it make the government look? It made the government look bad. And I don't know why it's not thought of by it. It's like somebody who says, well, I don't care of flesh. That's what brother attitude is. You 80-year-old man, you won't create the country in old, put the country in present.
Axel Jackson at the same time blasted police alleged action against citizens during protests, terming it as unprofessional.
Grandkid, man. Then the police kill three of those people. Believe that police people are supposed to kill citizens when they exercise their right. In recent times, when the situation at the Capitol building got tense, what did you see the police do? The lawmakers that belong to the cover block, the police were brutalizing them, were beating them. The lawmakers that belong to whom they were giving free access and free passage. It is a partisan police. And partisan policing is not good for any country. Let's just say Liberia. I see it in other places of the world, where because the police did not come across the citizen has been even handed, has been credible and trustworthy, then they didn't react to this police. And corporate people needs to be careful because policing is carried out on the basis of two guarding of prison.
Axel Jackson is Liberia's former permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization, a non-governmental organization under the banner Anti-Drug War Order Boss has embarked on a massive drug awareness across Monrovia in its environs. The group, in a peaceful assembly at the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia, said the awareness is due to the increasing wave of drug intake in the country. Speaking to Kear News, elderly Liberian women in a disappointing turn termed the increasing wave of drug intake amongst Liberian youth as national emergency.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
A non-governmental organization under the Banda Anti-Drug War Order Boss, the speaking. The head of the House of Representatives Majority Bloc, Rachel Kuhn, along with two other lawmakers, have departed Liberia for Accra, Ghana to witness the induction ceremony of Ghanaian President-elect John Mahama. Representative Kuhn and his delegation departure comes barely 24 hours after they were officially invited by Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament, Honorable Aben Sumata Kingsford Benben. Speaking to reporters on Monday in Monrovia, the House of Representatives Press Bureau Director Robert Hinz disclosed that Representative Kuhn and his delegation are expected to engage in discussion with key stakeholders in Ghana aimed to further strengthen ties between the two countries.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives is off to Accra, Ghana. He's being accompanied by two legislators, the Chair Foreign Affairs, Nima Council Representative Neko Ide, and then the Chairperson on Executive, Representative Sekou Kane. They accompanying the Speaker to grace the inauguration of the President and Vice President-elect of Accra, Ghana, the People's Republic of Accra, Ghana. Yes, and so he's going to be there. It's a full, he's going to be there and return. Tomorrow is the program. He returns video following the program. Sanctify will upgrade. More consultations are ongoing. The chairman and executive have been having a couple of meetings in preparation for the State of the Nation address will take place. It will take place on the fourth working Monday, the 22nd of January. So we'll be having a couple of meetings. We'll have second in the series of meetings with the Joint Security to make sure that the State of the Nation address is a success.
House of Representatives Press Bureau Director Robert Hinz. A staunch member of the majority bloc of embattled Speaker Fonati Kofa has crossed over to members of the majority bloc. Speaking to journalists minutes after crossing over, Mosrado County District 3 Representative Smo Mwaba said his decision to cross over to the majority bloc is in the best interest of residents of his district. Representative Mwaba stressed that his decision is aimed to ensure development in District 3.
The library people is any illegal. I think it's about time not just to sit and have those strategies to look forward to what we are gathering at. My thing is the library people job, and the library people job is our interest. And being here to represent my district, I think it's very important. Representing my district is not about the pocket, let me get it clear. It's not about the pocket. I always tell people it's about our people. What we can do is so because one thing we know about working, I believe in development, right? So in my district, I'm working. Nothing changed. We look up to this year to see what we can do more development. The thing is not just about the political. The thing is, I'm operating. I believe in the law. I believe in the law. If we all together interest of our people that we are coming on board, not for anyone, not for anything. It's because of the interest of our people. We need to work. And we believe that together, if we come together and do this like great people do, what we are looking at, especially our general issue we see on the table. So it's not about getting a cluster zoom, right? To differentiate yourself from the house. We will be there choosing my the reason, not the reason, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to do the like great people. And I think we need to
Moserado County District 3 Representative Sumo Moba. Well, listeners, if you are just tuning, you are listening to Kear News Line. Today is Monday, January 6, 2024. This is the 6 p.m. edition of the program. I'm Lee Monjue and the presenters here. The story top of the news this evening. University of Liberia campus-based Student Unification Party threatens disruption of the President's State of the Nation address, failure to reopen school on January 13. Sub-Chairman Sylvester Wheeler says the prolonged closure of school deprives students access to quality education. Liberia former permanent representative to the IMO Isaac Jackson criticizes President Joseph Boakai on his continuous silence on political impasse at the legislature. A non-governmental organization describes increased wave of drug intake among Liberian youth as alarming, demands urgent action from government and international partners. And away from Liberia, 5 young Kenyan men who went missing just before the Christmas holidays have been found alive. These plus more development are up next. Please keep tuned. Many thanks for rejoining us. A Liberian businessman, George Calando, has called on the civil society organizations and media to assist government in combating corruption across the country. He said it is disappointing to see Liberia, after almost 178 years of independence, having nothing to show but rather having its people living in abject poverty. Councillor Calando made the call when he was honored by the Consortium of Civil Society Organizations in Liberia in Congo Town on Monday. Liberian businessman George Calando. A human rights activist, Titus Pakala, is urging government to desist from politicizing human rights violations in the country. According to Titus, despite numerous killings across the country, there has been no prosecution done to ensure the rule of law. He alleged that most of these crimes are reportedly perpetrated by officers of the Liberia National Police, urging government to take prompt actions.
In 2024, I can say that there were more than very mysterious events. One began with Amanda Leo on April 14, 2004. She was mysteriously murdered by we talk about under the action of self-imam. You say in 2020, you want to get the president in 2024. Now, it occurred on the Maya Drive. The Benin's period now, it's the Benin's period. Yes. Amanda Nimbo, that is the Ethnic, Morris Duma, Lie, but I'm 2024. Lie, mysteriously, if I die in a hospital, and Franklin Logan on Mars, or 2024 as well, was shot by police. Well, shot. Austin Yapawolo, April 17, 2024 was also shot by the police, officer of the Liberia National Police.
A human rights activist status Pakala. Scores of citizens in Boston Lower Margibi County have fronted at government's failure to construct market buildings to accommodate marketers in that part of the country. Speaking to Kear News, the citizens claimed that government's failure to construct market building has left marketers with no option rather than selling along the street. They also alarmed over continuous harassment by police officers on marketers.
Instead of the government giving us chance to sell, they get us place to sell, they can do it. When they come in, the police will always come, destroy our place, win our table, win our place, take our market, take everything for us. When they come in, they'll come overnight. They win everything. They will pack money, carry to them. At the end of the day, they will take come back. Do you have a specific area where you people go to sell? There is no area they show us. No place. Yes, no place. Now we own a neutral land. And now, people yesterday, they own all the land king and tell we should move. Because they are already leave the place. In the place they leave, but we escape. It's why when the police come, they loot us. They are very ruthless. Because you know that they want to take your thing, you run beyond them, you will get from you can get out. So now you get out and you pay money. And you lost. Most of the time. I don't message you have to send out. What they use the government said that they came for rescue. You understand? How did they fight for man like that? Is what we're saying now. Because they fight for man, create market everywhere. And force people to go there. But the present government, who they rescue, never do nothing but push people. We don't know how well we survive from them. We have a bunch of children that will finish study to school and now the school is very expensive.
Scores of citizens in Boston Lower Margibi County. Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information has blasted Bapudu County Senator Amara Conan for his critics on the Bwakakun administration. Daniel Sana described Senator Conan's critique as an unfair judgment of government's effort to tackle challenges incurred from the CDC government. According to him, the Bwakakun administration is making frantic effort on improving the living condition of ordinary Liberians, resuscitating the economy and delivering on campaign promises.
I think government is difficult. Government is not difficult. The foundation of our constitution was started with two. And like I said, the role of election is very critical in the money of the country, doing things that receive political dividends to the country. And that's it. When lawmakers decide to downplay their own functional legislation, and become critic and activist. And I think the one of our community is so long because we are part of the government. So if the government is listening, I want to say this. We also for example, the corruption to using like country is backwards, corruption to using like country is it's critical use of things. It's mentioned to you that there are still according to right? And the government is the chair of the Senate Commission for the economy. Is there one year after the government where it is that is information to the president and the public hearing because we go to public hearing to let over functions of the government come from country other things so we need to live. I mean, we have personal issues. What personal issues? We carry consulting in America. Not the first one that really come here and say, I think that the first thing, everything that means speak. You don't speak to a deaf point. Speak from the point of view. To say a job is only country, to inform you to point out some basic information. Verify the business of institution of drugs in larger states that institute. Behind the study that the DPC only former acting professor in charge managed to occupy some of the federal
Meanwhile, Daniel Sando has highlighted the achievements of the Unity Party-led government within its first year, including macroeconomic stability, fiscal policy, revenue collection, and crafting of a national development document, among others.
I didn't want to see, I didn't want to think into this because people who try to teach it that nothing under fucking thing. The other day, I meet a regular friend using the practice outline accomplishment in the government sector. We don't have the time to do everything. We are team accomplishment across structure. When you go to the Ministry of Public Works, the intervention of public works is making very little. So let me just see what the Ministry of Finance. We talk about macroeconomic stability, right? The economy has been stabilized and inflation and reduced at a peak of growth rate of 5.1% in 2024. So by the national development plan has been crafted and we are trying to launch it in this everyone. The national development plan is aligned with the evaluation of future development goals, SDGs. But by the time they do SDGs, it is very key. This is what we do to compensate. So you say that you are qualified for a certain contract is not a good news, and fiscal performance, strong fiscal performance ready for election of 609 million to the full fiscal usage of
Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information, Daniel Sando. As the Wakakun administration completes 1 year of its tenure, a Liberian businessman is proposing the reduction of tariff on imported goods at various ports of entry. According to Kwadi Gege, the high increase in tariff at airports and seaports have led to Liberian business entrepreneurs getting involved with importation of other countries rather than Liberia. Speaking in an interview with Kear News, the influential Liberian businessman reminded President Joseph Boakai of promises made to Liberians during the 2024 election period.
Okay, what I want you to focus on is one, as a businessman, you should look at the tariff issue at the National Port Authority with that by the airport, because that is the gateway to Liberian economy. You see, why many Liberians leave from here to go Guinea, Africa, Ghana, by the reason is this: they have a reduction in the tariff fees in various airports in Ghana, Africa, Guinea, and so on. So Liberia should be able to follow neighboring footsteps of tariff reduction for importers in Liberia. With that, we will experience good economic start of our country. You know how many number of people go to Ghana, Nigeria, and other part of other neighboring countries of Liberia to buy goods? Simply because the tariff is going to increase by the Liberian government. So the first thing the president needs to look at in order to have a well structured business atmosphere by Liberian business sector is to look at the tariff issue at the National Port Authority with other gateways that contributing to the financial aspect of our country Liberia. That is the airport, the seaport, these are areas that need to be looked at in order to have a good business atmosphere like other foreign countries. The unity party-led government, their first year, out of 150, because most of the promises that were made not
saying on the reality side due to distraction by some political opponents, distraction from opposition, likewise distraction by some members of the ruling party because that.
An influential Liberian businessman and movie actor Cody Gege. In foreign news, five young Kenyan men who went missing just before the Christmas holidays have been found alive from the members and rights group said. Kear has been grabbed by a wave of disappearances, with a state-funded rights group saying that over 80 people have been abducted in the last 6 months. The abduction generally target government critics and widely believed to be work of security agents, although the authorities have not admitted responsibility. They began in June last year during nationwide anti-tax protests, but increased in December when AI-generated photos of the president in a coffin were widely shared. That's the foreign development. Well, folks, on that foreign note, this I would like to draw down the curtains of today's Monday, January 6, 2024, 6 p.m. edition of Kia Newsline. This has been the joint effort of the News and Current Affairs Department here at Kear Communications Network. Many thanks to all of our reporters, contributors, editors who helped in making this edition of the program a success. Many thanks to Aloysius Chea who brought for us a full bulletin of national news. James worked with Sada control and handled the technical aspects before we take a recap of our headlines. University of Liberia campus-based Student Unification Party threatens disruption of the President's State of the Nation address, failure to reopen school on January 13. Sub-Chairman Sylvester Wheeler says the prolonged closure of school deprives students access to education. Liberia's former permanent representative to RMO Axel Jackson criticizes President Joseph Boakai on his continued silence on political impasse at the legislature. As you earlier heard in the news, a non-governmental and anti-drug organization describes increased wave of drug intake among Liberian youth as alarming, demands urgent action from government and international partners. And away from Liberia, five young men have who went missing just before the Christmas holiday have been found alive. Many thanks for playing your usual listener. I'm Lee Monjue. I presented. Good night.